George Carlin. George Carlin was a legendary comedian whose routines often included sharp critiques of religion. Raised Catholic, Carlin eventually rejected religious teachings and became a fierce atheist. He famously mocked the concept of an all-powerful, invisible man in the sky who demands worship and threatens eternal punishment. His stand-up specials, especially You Are All Diseased and Religion is Bullshit, became iconic for their fearless satire. Carlin believed religion was a tool for controlling people and stifling curiosity. He often joked that praying to Joe Pesci was just as effective as praying to God. Though controversial, his arguments resonated with many who felt disillusioned with organized faith. Carlin maintained that ethics and decency don't require belief in a deity. His approach to religion was brutally honest, irreverent, and unapologetically logical. Even after his death, Carlin's legacy continues to inspire critical thinkers and skeptics alike. Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley has spoken candidly about her lack of belief in God, often with wit and irony. In a 2012 Interview magazine feature, she remarked that being religious would make life easier, because you could sin and just ask for forgiveness. She pointed out the convenience some find in religion, especially when it comes to moral accountability. Knightley has expressed admiration for people of faith, but says it's just not something she can believe in. Despite her non-belief, she often discusses philosophical topics and values, introspection, and personal growth. She's also highlighted how atheism forces her to take full responsibility for her actions. Knightley prefers to ground her moral compass in empathy and logic. Her atheism doesn't define her career, but she's not afraid to share it when asked. She believes in being good for goodness sake, not out of fear of divine punishment. For Knightley, integrity comes from within, not from religious doctrine. Simon Pegg. British actor and writer Simon Pegg is another celebrity who openly identifies as atheist. While not as fiery as some public skeptics, Pegg uses his platform to discuss secular issues with balance and honesty. He's tweeted about the difficulties of atheist parenting and how non-believers are often unfairly judged. Pegg has said that morality isn't the exclusive domain of religion and that atheists can be just as ethical and kind. He rejects the idea that atheism equals nihilism, insisting that life has value even without divine purpose. Pegg's approach to atheism is thoughtful and respectful, often bridging the gap between believers and skeptics. He emphasizes compassion, rationality, and the importance of human relationships. Though he grew up around religious influence, it never resonated deeply with him. Pegg encourages dialogue, not division, around belief. For him, truth and decency matter more than supernatural claims. Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is a celebrated British actor, writer, and intellectual who is unapologetically atheist. In a widely circulated 2015 interview, he was asked what he would say to God if he met him at the gates of heaven. Fry responded by questioning how a benevolent deity could allow bone cancer in children, calling such a God evil, capricious, and monstrous. His passionate reply went viral and resonated with millions worldwide. Fry is also a humanist who champions science, logic, and human rights. He's often spoken about how belief in God is unnecessary for living an ethical life. Fry has battled depression and bipolar disorder and finds no comfort in religious platitudes. Instead, he finds meaning through literature, empathy, and intellectual curiosity. He respects individual beliefs but rejects organized religion's moral authority. To Fry, questioning everything, including the divine, is an essential part of being human. Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe, best known for playing Harry Potter, has identified as a relaxed atheist. In various interviews, he said he doesn't believe in a god but isn't militant about it. Radcliffe has chosen to keep his spiritual beliefs relatively private, avoiding public debates or confrontations. Still, he's made it clear that religion never played a significant role in his upbringing. He believes people should be free to follow whatever belief system works for them, as long as it doesn't harm others. His atheism hasn't stopped him from exploring moral and ethical issues in his work and interviews. When a US politician criticized him for being an atheist, Radcliffe laughed it off, proving he doesn't take such critiques personally. He's emphasized that living a kind and meaningful life doesn't require religion. Radcliffe believes in individual responsibility and rational thought. He prefers to find magic in human creativity rather than the supernatural. Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie has openly discussed her skepticism toward religion and belief in God. Raised without a strong religious background, she's long focused more on humanitarian work than spirituality. Jolie once said she doesn't believe in a divine plan, and instead finds meaning in her actions. She has emphasized the importance of creating change through compassion and empathy, not faith. Her work with the UN and global charities reflects a humanist worldview. Jolie has never been hostile toward religion, but she doesn't subscribe to any doctrine. She believes morality should be based on human needs and suffering, not ancient texts. While she acknowledges the comfort religion brings some people, she finds her purpose in real-world service. Jolie's emphasis on justice and equality aligns with secular humanist values. For her, living well means doing good without relying on a higher power. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt grew up in a devout Southern Baptist home, but gradually drifted away from Christianity. He has described his spiritual evolution as being 20% atheist, 80% agnostic. In various interviews, he's discussed the guilt and shame he felt growing up in a strict religious environment. Pitt has expressed discomfort with the idea of divine punishment and eternal judgment. He says that as he matured, he began seeking his own path and found spirituality outside of religion. Pitt now values openness, curiosity, and living in the present. Although he doesn't actively promote atheism, he's clear about his disbelief in traditional theology. He also rejects the idea that purpose must come from a higher being. Pitt focuses on being kind, thoughtful, and authentic in everyday life. His journey reflects a gradual move from inherited belief to personal freedom. Trey Parker. Trey Parker, co-creator of South Park and the Book of Mormon, has long identified as an atheist, though he often mocks religion in his work. He does so with a surprising degree of nuance. Parker has said that the Book of Mormon was his and Matt Stone's atheist love letter to religion. He acknowledges that while he doesn't believe in God, he understands why people find comfort in faith. Parker didn't grow up religious and says he never felt a strong pull toward any spiritual system. He prefers to find humor in the absurdities of belief systems rather than attack them directly. His work often highlights the contradictions and hypocrisies found in religious institutions. Despite the satire, Parker expresses a kind of respect for the community aspect of religion. He once joked that Star Wars could be his chosen religion. For Parker, questioning everything, including sacred beliefs, is part of being a thoughtful human. Bill Maher. Bill Maher is known for his sharp, controversial critiques of religion. Over the years, he has called himself an atheist, agnostic, and a pantheist, someone who doesn't care whether God exists. His 2008 documentary Religulous aimed to expose the dangers of religious dogma in public life. Maher argues that religious belief can hinder scientific progress and rational policymaking. He's especially critical of faith-based thinking in politics and education. Maher often debates clergy and religious guests on his talk show, asking hard questions and pointing out contradictions. He believes that ethics can and should exist independently of divine commandments. His stance has drawn criticism, but he maintains that satire is a vital tool for challenging the status quo. Maher supports secularism and wants to keep religion out of government decisions. To him, religion is a human creation, not divine truth. Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais has made atheism a central part of his public identity. In his writings and interviews, he often talks about how he stopped believing in God at the age of 8. Gervais says he realized that belief in one God is arbitrary when thousands of gods have existed in human history. He argues that atheism is simply the default position until someone convinces you otherwise. His 2010 essay in the Wall Street Journal outlined his reasons for disbelief, grounded in science and reason. Gervais doesn't just reject religion, he also questions the social assumptions surrounding it. He frequently uses humor to disarm critics and encourage open dialogue. Though he's often accused of being offensive, he says his goal is honesty, not cruelty. Gervais believes you don't need religion to be good or live a meaningful life. For him, truth is sacred, even if it offends. If you liked this video, you'll definitely want to watch the next one. It's called 10 Most Dangerous Religious Leaders in History, and it goes even deeper into who they were, what they did, and how they rose to power. We'll break down the history, psychology, and influence behind each name on the list. Don't miss it. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss anything.